Welcome everyone, Tactical Lich here. A while back, Cool Umbrella started his own Discord server with a channel dedicated to sharing replays, so I decided to pick up some good stuff from there and cast those goodies. Now for this battle, Cool Umbrella himself is playing his favorite Nurgle faction here, with a bunch of Nurglings mixed in with Marauders in front to challenge the dreaded Cathay box. For a full-on numbers approach here, going for an overwhelming width, we also have some more Nurglings on the other side, going for the full 5 unit limit. And then in the skies there, 4 plague drones of Nurgle, rather expensive but rather elite as well in terms of their armor piercing and melee stats with poison and magic damage. Combined with physical resistance, they are actually quite tanky when supported by the Nurgle healing. At the back there, for a little bit of a sturdier backbone for the frontline Plague Bearers of Nurgle, and that's it for the main army. For the leadership, we have a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle coming in with Stream of Corruption, the Fleshy Abundance for healing, and also his Crown of Everlasting Conquest, providing absurd amount of healing over the course of battle. On the other side, for the Cathay army, going for a box build, a front line of Jade Warriors on the first line of contact. On the flanks, Jade Warriors with halberds, and further back, more Jade Warriors to guard all those Cathay missiles, 2 Crane Gunners, 1 firing rocket, and also a single Green Guardian, providing that missile reflection aura, very useful when you're dealing with a bunch of Death's Head. And for the leadership, we have Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon, coming in with Regrowth, their own form of healing, and also Talons of the Night. That's it for the army builds. Now let's get the battle started. With such a wide army build, the Nurgle's approach to handle the Cathay is very obvious here, just trying to overwhelm their opponents, their box, with sheer numbers. Marauders will try to pin down the Jade Warriors in the front, while the Nurglings will flank around to tie down the Jade Warriors with halberds, and at the same time, the Plague Drones of Nurgle will drop down onto the rather fragile missile backline of the Cathay army, shutting down the Cathay ranged assets, preventing the Cathay army from using their biggest strength, especially when there's only a few units to deal with. However, the Crane Gunners have already started to do some devastating damage to some of these Marauders and chipping away the health of these Plague Drones. The thing about Crane Gunners and other Giselle type units is that their missiles usually have good penetration and can strike multiple unit models at once. This makes them very effective against densely packed infantry, and combined with the firing rocket bombardment, the Nurgle infantry are definitely taking heavy losses. However, that means that most of the units on the flanks are pretty much untouched, so the Cathay player will be turning their Crane Gunners towards the flanking Plague Drones of Nurgle, trying to weaken the Nurgle flyers before they charge into melee combat. The Crane Gunners, being gunpowder units, have pretty good accuracy, so they are actually landing hits and doing some noticeable damage to both of the Plague Drone units. Now let us go back to the front line where Marauders are clashing against Jade Warriors. Very good micro from the Nurgle player here, reducing the width of the Marauder formation so that they can slip through the gaps between the Jade Warriors and get on top of these Crane Gunners, silencing them and pushing them back, while forcing the Jade Warriors at the back using their halberds to reinforce this front line here and plug in the gap. This forces the Jade Warriors to move out of position and opening a gap in the back line. With the Nurglings moving in, this gives them a chance to move straight through the defenses and get on top of the Cathay missiles. On the flanks there are some Marauders being beaten back. There's already one Marauder routed all the way to the back of the map there. Really shows how much the Chaos Marauder struggles against Jade Warriors and their fire support. However, the Plague Drones are here and are dropping on top of these Crane Gunners. They have solid melee stats, 36 attack and defense, especially when they're engaging in melee, getting that Cloud of Flies buff, plus 9 melee defense. Even when surrounded by anti-large infantry with their physical resistance and their melee defense, they can hold out just fine. At the same time, they're shutting down all those Cathay firepower. Even the firing rocket has been silenced despite the reinforcement of the Jade Warriors with halberds. Nurglings are moving in to just further bog down this missile backline here. With their numbers advantage, they should be able to distract a lot of these Jade Warriors and just threaten the firing rockets in general, while there are more Plague Drones dropping into the fray here. Now they can hit the firing rockets from all sides. The Crane Gunners are pretty much done for. Cathay didn't bring any mobility, leaving them with nothing to secure all those routed units, leaving them to the mercy of Nurgle, which is non-existent. In the front line, the Jade Warriors are suffering from the Stream of Corruption. It is a 100% armor-piercing spell, so very cost-efficient against the armored warriors of Cathay, giving the Plague Bearers a slightly better time to work through the Cathay front line. Plague Bearers themselves are pretty tanky with their high HP pull, physical resistance, Cloud of Flies for extra melee defense, poison to debuff weapon strength of their opponents. They are surviving just fine in the frontline engagement, now consolidating, going to support the engagement against the remaining Jade Warriors and Miao Ying herself. The Jade Warriors are trying to support Miao Ying against the swarm of plague drones, and Miao Ying in her dragon form has taken a lot of damage from the surrounding armor-piercing damage. Another Stream of Corruption weakening another unit of Jade Warriors. While in the middle here, Miao Ying has returned to her human form, using regrowth to top up her HP and get some vigor refresh. The Green Guardian is staying close to the side of the Dragon Lady, trying to hack down the plague drones that surrounds her. But it is no easy task, as the plague drones, when they have their Cloud of Flies active, has 45 melee defense, while the Green Guardian, yes, he has 78 melee attack, but it still takes some time to cut through all those HP of the plague drones. On the far side there are some regrouped Marauders of Nurgle now chasing down the Jade Warriors, and on the flanks, the Nurglings are swarming the Jade Warriors with halberds, who are struggling to cut through all these infantry-sized units. And then at the back there, firing rockets, now struggling to get back on top of their artillery, because most of that artillery space has been occupied by enemy combatants. The Nurglings are just swarming this position, and very unfortunate for Cathay, they have lost all their firepower. Miao Ying and the Green Guardian, of course, are two very tough cookies to crack, especially with regrowth topping up Miao Ying's health back to almost full. The Vigor Refresh also keeping Miao Ying fresh and fighting in full power even after minutes of intense battle. The Nurgle Sorcerer Lord is very wisely staying out of this fight, sitting back just dropping in supporting abilities like Stream of Corruption and Fleshy Abundance occasionally. Nurgle pours in more units to surround Miao Ying, but this gives her a perfect chance for a Talons of the Night, hitting right in the middle of a blob of plague drones, plague bearers, and the marauders, now doing massive damage to the Nurgle army. But still, the balance of power is ever so slightly in favor of Nurgle, because most of Cathay's assets, especially the missiles, have been dealt with. All these Jade Warriors are very tattered, losing their harmony buff. They don't have the kind of elite melee stats that keep them forever in the fight, so eventually they will be worked down by the numbers advantage of Nurgle and also the quality advantage of their plague drones and plague bearers, especially now that the plague drones are able to rear charge into the weakened Jade Warriors, breaking them with the rear charge morale penalty, and making sure they're never coming back with Nurglings pursuing them from behind. Now, over here we have the Green Guardian moving in, dealing with some of these Marauders of Nurgle. His terror can be quite useful in the late game where the units are tattered and are prone to terror routes, like the Nurgle Marauders right here. But unfortunately, this doesn't work against demonic units. Plague Bearers and Nurglings does not get routed by terror, so unfortunately, this Green Guardian today is quite a bit of a waste in terms of investment, because his terror is wasted against all these demonic units, and more importantly, his missile reflection aura doesn't work against this pure melee Nurgle army. In the skies there, Miao Ying is engaging in a dogfight against 3 units of plague drones who are just holding on with fecundity, topping up their HP. One of them has dropped extremely low in health, but that fecundity was so clutch in keeping them in the fight. Combined with their passive defense buff, these Nurgle flies are really holding on, demonstrating the tenacity of Nurgle. Sensing that she can't win, Miao Ying decided to land, but the Jade Warriors on the far side are swarmed and occupied by the Nurglings. These Jade Warriors are now being worked down to a quarter of their health, now engaging Plague Bearers of Nurgle with their 48 weapon strength, even against the 90 armor of the Jade Warriors. They should still be able to do some okay damage through time, because the Jade Warriors with halberds simply does not do much damage against enemy infantry, and the Plague Bearers has a lot of melee defense to just hold them down forever. Now at the back here, the Miao Ying and the Green Guardian are still trying to grind it out against the plague drones, but there's just so much health coming in from the Nurgle healing. Flashy Abundance topping up another unit of plague drones HP. The plague bearers are very handy in this situation, providing extra bodies to absorb hits for the plague drones, diverting Miao Ying and the Green Guardian's attention to them, buying more time for the plague drones to damage the Cathay single entities. Another Talons of the Night, a desperate attempt from Miao Ying to clear out all those Nurgle infantry support. At this point, the Cathay army's own infantry support is completely gone. All the Jade Warriors have been routed and now will be chased down by Nurglings. Actually, there is one unit of Jade Warriors with halberds returning, but honestly, at this point, even this one unit of tattered Marauders can easily deal with them given how weak the Jade Warriors with halberds are. Their leadership already wavering. Now back to the middle, there Miao Ying decides to turn back into human form to get a regrowth on top of herself, while the Green Guardian is now surrounded by armor-piercing plague drones, taking quite a bit of damage but struggling to return the favor. Even the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle is engaging in melee right now, trying to psycho charge down Miao Ying. Now that she is in her human form, she doesn't have as much armor. On top of that, she can't punch back as hard, so the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is much safer engaging her right now. Even if Miao Ying hits back, it's not too much of a concern. After all, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle does have the Cloud of Flies himself, boosting his melee defense, making him tankier in melee combat. His heavy armor also effectively mitigates Miao Ying's non-armor piercing damage, and whatever chip damage he received, he can heal it all back up with the Crown of Everlasting Conquest. As a result, Miao Ying's health is getting low and the Green Guardian has taken noticeable damage, but things are not looking too great for the Nurgle infantry right now. You can see that a lot of these Marauders no longer have their leadership holding, being routed, terror routed away by the presence of the Green Guardian, and now the Jade Warriors have returned, trying to support their Liege Lord and their massive construct in combat, but the swarm of Nurglings will once again pin down the Jade Warriors. It is funny how the Jade Warriors have been pestered by Nurglings the entire time, and now Miao Ying is left alone against a swarm of Nurglings and the psycho charging of the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. We'll go into fast forward right now as the battle is entering a long grind phase. The Cathay single entities are desperately trying to hang on, but the plague drones are now dropping in to surround Miao Ying with the support of the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle. It is quite a bit of a long grind here, but as soon as Miao Ying gets routed, this will pretty much be game for Cathay. The consistent psycho charging of the Sorcerer Lord and the plague drones are slowly but surely wearing down the Cathay resistance. As you can see here, Miao Ying is done for and the Green Guardian is left alone in this fight with no healing to support. He only has 38 melee defense, so not the greatest melee defense honestly, and will be receiving quite a bit of damage when surrounded by enemy units like this, especially with the plague drone's armor piercing bypassing its protection. Nurglings engaging in the fight as well, and now even the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle is now fighting, dropping a massive fleshy abundance to heal everything up in this blob. Terracotta Sentinels might be unbreakable, but they surely aren't invincible. And at the 15-minute mark, we will be concluding this battle with Nurgle emerging victorious, doing what they do best, overwhelming enemy with numbers and grinding them down with their survivability. GG to both Cool Umbrella and Captain Morgan. For the army performances here, we can see that the plague drones did spectacular in battle overall. 3 of them earned back their value and then some more. 1 of them got shut down hard by the focus fire from the crane gunners, but still, the healing plus the tenacity of the plague drones helped them grind down the key targets of the Grand Cathay army. The Green Guardian, Miao Ying, and the crane gunners got swarmed and worked down by the AP damage. For the rest of the army there, the infantry didn't do that much, mostly just absorbing hits and swarming the Grand Cathay missiles, and also just wear down the Jade Warriors once they lose their harmony buff. As for the leadership there, the stream of corruption from the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is very key in clearing out all those Grand Cathay infantry, and on top of that, the fleshy abundance kept the plague drones in the fight for a prolonged period of time. On the other side there, Grand Cathay, the missiles didn't do that much damage overall, being hit hard by all those plague drones dropping on top of them, and with only Jade Warriors and no peasant, there's not enough bodies for the Grand Cathay army to fend off the swarming plague drones. The Jade Warriors were good, but they only have 8 units, and once some of them got distracted by Nurglings, the missiles were distracted and exposed, and also Miao Ying and the Green Guardian are extremely expensive. Yes, they are quite good at beating down the plague drones, but in the end just got surrounded and worn down by the sheer number and tankiness of the Nurgle army. That's it for today's battle. I hope you all enjoy it, and if you want to see more Total Warhammer multiplayer content, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.